Hello, everybody. So, a few of my viewers have asked me to weigh in on the trucker protests, so I decided to go ahead and make a video about it. I selected this particular photo to be the backdrop for my narration. Those of you whose powers of observation continue to serve you well will understand why. It's been a little bit. I have been trying to kind of get to the bottom of this, and I've been doing my best to try to find the best on the ground feeds because this is a protest, and I found that if you go to mainstream media sources when it comes to protests, you're largely just going to get the spin in one direction or the other, and we will be talking about that a bit as well. But the basis of this is that truckers were told that they were going to have to be able to present proof that they were vaccinated if they were going to cross the border, and this triggered a protest. And just like any other large protest, you're going to get people from different ideologies who seek to kind of piggyback on top of it. But for the most part, it looks like it's a peaceful protest from what I've seen so far. Inevitably, there'll be some incidents anytime you get a large group of people together. But in general, I think what would be more, in my opinion, uh, educational would be to look at just how much lying is going on about what's going on down there and the way that it's being spun. Specifically, the Canadian Prime Minister Trudeau engaging in what I have referred to, as you might remember, as the shotgun blast of oppression. If you remember when I said, that that's what they do, the left will do this, just to try to sling as many possible, sticky insult terms at you and see what sticks? Well, let's take a look. Today in the House, members of Parliament unanimously condemned the anti Semitism, Islamophobia, anti black racism, homophobia, and transphobia that we've seen on display in Ottawa over the past number of days. Together, let's keep working to make Canada more inclusive. He's being so inclusive in his various terms that he's using to describe these truckers. But this is a textbook example of what I mean by the shotgun blast of oppression. You're just going to throw as many of the fiery, charged insults at people as possible, and hoping that if you do this enough, something will stick, and then it'll take over from there. If the woke mob can find any evidence to back any of that up, that's exactly what they'll go with, and of course, that's exactly what they're doing. But in general, if you ever need another example, here's a perfect example of the shotgun blast of oppression. And of course, we need to call it white supremacy. The freedom protests are white supremacy in all its glory. If this was indigenous or another minority group, they would be shot or jailed without delay. This is not about the rule of law. This is clearly about racism and white privilege. I will be playing some video clips earlier. There were some good compilations put together that prove that the narrative is obviously wrong on this topic, but as this African, I guess Canadian gentleman would attest, he's not in fact a racist. It's funny because the comparisons to January 6th have been made, and this is no exception, although this is not the comparison they would want to make, which is that they are going to suggest that this is about white supremacy, racism, and blah, 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 blah. Once again, shotgun blast of oppression. When the reality is that there's people from multiple cultures involved in this protest of varying degrees of radicalization, and it's not about that. This has nothing to do with race. It has to do with vaccine mandates. And of course, in the continuously bizarre, uh, weird hypocrisy from the left on this issue, this meme kind of points out exactly what I find funny because it's just as ridiculous as Antifa attacking anti mask and anti vax protesters in the United States. But, this is a communist meme saying, workers of the world unite. You have nothing to lose but your chains. And then when truckers, meaning workers of the world, unite and they're not doing what they want, then it's no, stop, uniting, you fascists. Take your vaccines, take them or lose your jobs. Your jobs mean nothing. They'll be automated anyway. Do what the government says. Because, of course, that's exactly what any good anarcho-communist would want you to do, right? And if you think this is just like one particular, here's an example of a meme that was put together, political art, specifically suggesting that the truckers are, well, fascists, obviously. The truckers must be fascist. That's what this is about. That they're all fascists. Protesting against government overreach is fascism. Again, these people's definition of fascism needs a lot of help Because the idea that you're going to protest government mandates and that makes you a fascist is just ridiculous. The whole point behind what fascism is authoritarianism, and if you're protesting against authoritarianism, you by definition can't be fascist. But they want fascist to mean anybody who doesn't agree with them. But hey, if we can't call them fascist, racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, whatever, then of course we could always call them Russians.
I do ask that because, given Canada's support of Ukraine in this current crisis with Russia, I don't know if it's far-fetched to ask, but there is concern that Russian actors could be continuing to fuel things as this protest grows, but perhaps even instigating it from the outset.
But hey, if we can't call them fascist, racist, sexist, homophobic, transphobic, whatever, then of course we could always call them Russians. So are you keeping up, everybody? Because now they're racist, sexist, misogynistic, transphobic, fascist Russians. That's what's going on. Fascistic, transphobic, I can't even keep track of all of it, but also Russians. Because that makes sense. So let's take a look at some of the video clips that I gathered off Twitter today, just to kind of give some perspective on what's actually happening down there in contrast to the narrative. I'm going to warn you ahead of time, because these are random clips taken from people's phones and uploaded to Twitter, that some of the volume levels are going to be different.
Over the past few days, Canadians were shocked and frankly disgusted by the behavior displayed by some people protesting in our nation's capital.
Why are you on Parliament Hill?
Why wouldn't I be? This is democracy.
We won't give in to those who fly racist flags. We won't cave to those who engage in vandalism or dishonor the memory of our veterans.
And to keep this safe and lawful and peaceful so that they can't lay any of their derogatory terms on us.
Now he's going. Now he's gone. We called him out.
Intolerance and hate. There is no place in our country for threats, violence, or hatred.
How's it been down here? Nothing but good. People are super good. The truckers have been having a good time. They've been getting their point across. Well, how's it been? It's been good, man. People are in a great mood.
As Canadians, we stand up for what's right, and mostly, we stand up for each other.
I need my freedom. So we're here for freedom, and I'm also a trucker. I'm trucking for 17 years.
I'm here for mental health, for everyone to be able to socialize again and have a normal life.
So to those responsible for this behavior, it needs to stop.
Welcome to the revolution.
Over the past few days, Canadians were shocked and frankly disgusted by the behavior displayed by some people protesting in our nation's capital, by those who hurl insults and abuse at small business workers and steal food from the homeless. We won't give in to those who fly racist flags. We won't cave to those who engage in vandalism or dishonor the memory of our veterans.
Lord, this weekend has been a peaceful protest. No one has gotten arrested.
I've never been a bit more proud to be a Canadian right now, and I'm more proud of my country, and I'm proud of the world. I just want to say to everyone, I love you.
Hey,
beautiful people out there, and I'm seeing a lot of comments on the news and the mainstream media that this freedom convoy is being run by the racist and supremacist groups, and they are like terrorists, and we are part of this convoy as well. We are heading to Ottawa right now, and we are meeting people on the way, on the en route, and we are getting a lot of response from all over Canada through our TikTok and Instagram profiles, and it's overwhelming. The love and support is overwhelming, and freedom and love is in the air, right? And look, these people are standing on the bridges. It's minus 25 outside, right? These people are real heroes, and this is real Canada, united, strong, and free. And whoever spreading the hate and they're trying to divide us, let's show them that we are one, and we are all together into this, and we will win this. Let's support the freedom convoy 100%, and let's head to Ottawa and show these people like we all are Canadians are together into this, not just one group. And
Yeah, I'm not really getting the whole white supremacist, racist, sexist, misogynistic, Russian. Yeah, I'm not going to try to repeat all of that again. That vibe is just not there, guys. You're just going to have to accept it, that there are people who disagree with you who are not those things. That people can disagree with mask mandates, vaccine mandates, and not be racist, sexist, misogynistic, fascist, or Russians. It's just ridiculous. But it's unfortunately getting very predictable. That's why the shotgun blast of oppression is being used, is they need to figure out, in any way they possibly can, a way to make this evil. And you may or may not agree with them. That doesn't make them evil. So apparently also farmers are jumping in on this. Let's take a look at this video. So I'm going to issue an open challenge to anybody who's going to suggest that somehow protesting against government mandates, it makes you a fascist. I'd love to see that. I mean, that's something that I've been pointing out multiple times, going all the way back to the vaccine mandate protests that Mary Todd did such a good job of covering, where, Antifa just showed up and attacked people for protesting mask and vaccine mandates, and then literally stabbed someone in the chest during the course of the fight, lied about it. It just doesn't make any sense, and it honestly just kind of is starting to prove that whoever's directing that narrative is probably the one who's actually interested in, an authoritarian takeover of some kind, communist or whatever, because it's just so 1984, ignorance is strength. They're just redefining what everything means, in whatever way will, basically suit their purposes in the moment. And they need any kind of legitimate protest to look like fascism, and then they need illegitimate protests, or at least ones that are violent, to appear as brave. And it's also funny as I'm reading a lot of rhetoric right now about how people should not be allowed to block the streets, as if that wasn't going on during, all of 2020. And the same people didn't do anything about it. Now, I have heard a rumor that Trudeau is apparently talking about using the military to remove the truckers. I don't know if that's true. Like I said, I'm just kind of looking into this, and because I'm a little late to the game, it's hard to sift through and figure out what's legitimate and what's not. But in general, just the use of the shotgun blast of oppression is generally an indication that somebody is insecure, recognizes that their position is untenable, and the best way for them at that point, to run interference is just to label anybody who disagrees with you all of the various evil labels, and then hope that the woke mob does the research for you, which is they're already trying to do. They're trying to isolate different individuals who were involved in this protest and say this person has links to this person has links to that. So in any case, folks, when it comes to this issue, as of now, my view on it is that I understand why they're protesting. I am not a big fan of mandates. Not a big fan of, forcing people to do any of these things for reasons that we've already discussed in the past. And I will be trying to cover this issue a little more closely. I'm going to be doing some other videos, like, for example, about what just happened to Whoopi Goldberg, among other things. And if you guys have any content you want me to do, don't forget to let me know in the comments, because that's how this video came about. Thanks for tuning in. And if you guys could, I am looking for more patrons. You can support me on PayPal. A very nice fellow just, tipped me pretty big on PayPal. That was very helpful. Especially since now I'm being told that my tax return is going to be, like, the last paperwork we need, which comes from unemployment, isn't even going to be available until the end of February. So that's putting me into a lot of trouble financially, because I was depending on that money. So if you can support me, go to v-radio.us and do so. You can also go there, even if you can't support me financially, to join my various social media so that you can always be aware when I go live or when I put out new content. Thanks again, guys.